Yes, it's winner takes all on Sunday when Waterford welcome Limerick to Welsh Park for a 2 o'clock throw-in. And a man sitting across from me knows all about big showdowns with the Shannon Siders. That's 5-time Dacia All-Star John Mullane. And John, both teams are pointless heading into this one now on Sunday. Is this kind of a throwback to the old-style knockout championship that we used to have?
Yeah, most certainly is. I suppose it's winner takes all. I suppose whoever wins Sunday, they're going to get a lifeline into the Munster Championship. And I suppose, look, you'll be looking for a response out of both sides. I mean, everyone are alluding to the fact that, you know, Limerick underperformed the last day, and you know that they're going to come down and they're going to throw the kitchen sink and they're going to be a wounded animal. Well, what does that say for our lads? I mean, you'd like to think that our lads are going to be every bit as wounded and ready for road and ready to tear into the All-Ireland champions on our home soil Sunday.
Yeah, and like Waterford have to pick themselves up after that 18-point loss to Tip. John, from your experience, how difficult is it to recover from a big defeat like that?
Well, I suppose I had two big defeats. It was the All-Ireland final. I suppose the All-Ireland final and the 2011 Munster final were probably the two biggest defeats that I ever incurred in my career. In the All-Ireland final, I suppose we had the whole winter to get over, and then you went back to your club and just thankfully we won our first club championship that year. And I suppose the second one then, I suppose the Munster final in 2011, the 7-goal saga with Tipperary. We were lucky enough that we weren't out the following week, and I think the one thing that this Waterford team have in their favour is that they've had a 2-week break, that they didn't have to go out 7 days later. I think, you know, they would have been very, very vulnerable if they had played Limerick the following Sunday. And the fact that Limerick coming off a defeat against Cork. So I think the 2-week break will actually suit this Waterford team. And I think go back to our time in 2011 when we got we conceded those 7 goals against Tipperary. We had a 2-week break. We were 3-1 outsiders against Galway, a really, really good Galway team, and we beat Galway by 10 points.
And I think Waterford are over 2-1 on Sunday, John, coming into this. What do you think Páirce Fanning will be saying to the players before they hit the field on Sunday?
I actually feel sorry. I feel a bit sorry for Páirce Fanning. I mean, look, for me, I think he's done a very, very good job up to now. Very, very good league campaign. He's been a bit misunfortunate. I mean, let's look at the team he's inherited. Look, some of the players are pushing on. I mean, Kevin, an unbelievable warrior. Brick, an unbelievable warrior. Nolan Connors, an unbelievable warrior. They're not getting any younger. The two Mannies have been on the road an awful long time. With Ballygunner the last 5 years. Dara Fives is out injured. Shane Fives is out injured. So like, I think he's been very, very unfortunate the last couple of weeks. Now look, in saying that, I think in their county management too, I think you're open to making mistakes. I found that out when I got involved in inter-county management under 21 in 2015. It really opened my eyes to, you know, and my outlook on inter-county management. And myself and Tony and Derek Lyons, Paul Keane, and Donica, we made fundamental mistakes up in Ennis back in 2015. It probably cost us a Munster Championship and an All-Ireland. And I think Páirce, he's only in the job, and you know, mistakes are going to happen. Like, so I think, you know, he will learn from his mistakes, and I think we need to just stall the ball a small bit. Now, let's not forget, we played a Clare team who could have won the All-Ireland last year. We actually probably hurled for the last 10 minutes, and if another 5 minutes went on in that game, we could have beaten Clare. Tipperary then, albeit we were down to 14 men, albeit we were 6 or 7 points down, but to lose probably our best man marker in the game, and then you're coming up against a Tipperary team who are oozing in confidence. I mean, you see the score that they registered against Cork. I mean, it was always going to be an uphill task. So I think I wouldn't panic if I was Páirce. I think what I'm kind of actually fed up the last week or two is hearing that, you know, the players, they should be playing this system, they should be playing that system, and they're doing this under Derek and that under that Derek. It's a load of shit if you ask me, Tomas. I mean, at the end of the day, you can play whatever system you want, you can go out whatever tactics you want. The main thing you have to do is go back to the old values of you have to win as much ball as the man you're on, and collectively as a group, if you've 11 or 12 lads or 10 lads that can go out and achieve that on the day, win more ball than the opponent, And if you can go and outwork the opposition, 9 times out of 10 you'll win the matches. And I think going into Sunday's game, Limerick are going to come down and they're going to come out with some manic aggression, a lot of physicality, and Waterford have got to be ready and they've got to go toe to toe and match them and try and win their matchups on Sunday.
Yeah, has that been the core issue in the 2 defeats so far, John, that Waterford have been outworked by their opposition?
Well, look, from my eyes watching it, I would say yes. I would say there's an awful lot of serious talent in that Waterford dressing room. But for me, I'm not coming in here now being a past player and saying, trying to put the dagger into a few players. I'm not. But what I'm saying is, I'm just talking to some of the genuine supporters out there that there's a couple of players there that could be given more, and I think they have to bring more to the table on Sunday. I think the supporters deserve that for the simple reason. I mean, there's a lot of supporters are going to lend and bread to the country, paying good money, and all they want is something back. And I just hope, and I would like to think that there's enough leaders, there's enough very good players in that dressing room that they can come out fighting and give a good level of performance that I think the supporters deserve Sunday.
And you saw Limerick in the flesh against Cork up in the Gaelic grounds. John, how can Waterford try and get on top of them on Sunday?
Well, it's going to be out around that middle third. I think that's where Cork nullified them. They won those battles out around there in the middle third area. I think we can take an awful lot from the league final. I think where Limerick won that match that day was their half forward line out around the middle third, and Limerick's half forward line. Again, the amount of work that they put in, they've a high work ethic, and I think that Limerick, John Kiley, I think they didn't bring that to the table the last day. I think they got outworked by Cork. And you go to any of the results this year, Tipperary outworked Cork, won the match. Cork came back 7 days later. They outworked Cork outworked Limerick, won the match. You go back to last Sunday, albeit it was a dour game for 45 minutes, but Limerick or Wexford last Sunday, they came with a lot of courage, a lot of heart, a lot of manic aggression, fought for their lives, and they nearly beat Galway last Sunday. So I think Waterford are going to have to bring those characteristics to the game Sunday if they have any chance of beating this Limerick team.
And do you think John Kiley might change it up in terms of his team selection, John, because he went with, I think, 14 of the All-Ireland winners last time out? I think Peter Casey was the one exception. I think he'll be
loyal enough, although he has a good panel. Maybe he might possibly bring in Will O'Donoghue. I really like Will O'Donoghue, the Páirce lad. He might bring him into the middle of the field, and he might bring in Seamus Flanagan. I would imagine he'll bring in Seamus Flanagan in around the full forward line. I think he will go with probably a lot of physicality, and I think he will know that the tight dimensions of Welsh Park. I think he will feel that that's where the winning of this game will be.
Could Michael Welch have a role for Waterford, John, in this game? We haven't seen him so far.
We have, strangely enough, we haven't seen him. And look, I suppose he played the league final and we haven't seen him since. But I think if there's any game that you would be putting Brick in, you would be starting Brick. And I mean, he would rile the crowd up. I mean, I think that's what we're missing against the Clare. Even when Brick wins a free, or if someone other lads win a free, he's one of those lads. He's just an inspirational player. He's a leader on the field, and when he's there, if he won a free or he laid off a ball, the crowd would get engaged in the game. And I think that is also what the Waterford team have to do Sunday. They have to get the crowd involved. I felt for large parts of the Clare game they didn't do it. I thought after Ozzy got the first score against Clare, he gave a clinch of the fist, and I said, here we go. Now maybe the goal kind of deflated things. An early goal from the opposition can actually do that, but I think at every opportunity Sunday, if it's winning a free, scoring a point, if one of your teammate does well, you give him a little pat on the back or a little pat on the bum or whatever you have to do to get the crowd involved, get them involved. Because we've seen it the last 10 minutes against Clare. When Morris came on, won a few frees, he clinched the fist. Then Ozzy got involved, he clinched the fist. And all of a sudden then the volume started to rise in Welsh Park. Another 5 minutes in that game, there was only going to be one winner. And I think that's what these Waterford players have to do Sunday, is get the crowd involved at every opportunity.
Yeah, do you think the Welsh Park factor might have been a little bit of a burden on the team the last day, John?
I don't, for the simple reason, I think since I retired, I'm gone out of it 7 years. I woke up that morning and there was never one game where I actually said to ourselves at home, I said I'd love to play. Not even the All-Ireland final 2 years ago, I said I'd love to be out there. But I woke up that morning and driving around and, seeing the carnival atmosphere, I said to myself, I said, Jesus, I'd love to be playing today. And, some of these players, I mean, I would give my left arm to be in that dressing room Sunday. I tell you just have to come out now and tear down that door. All-Ireland champions coming to town. They're on your home soil. I mean, imagine the lift it would give the whole place if the lads were to pull it off, beat Limerick, the All-Ireland champions. You're going down to Cork 6 days later with your dander up. If you were to overturn Limerick and then you're overturn Cork, all of a sudden you could find yourself in a quarter final. That's how big this game is. Yeah,
exactly. And looking back at your own playing days, John, coming up against Limerick, what sort of games stand out for yourself?
Yeah, a mixed bag really, I suppose. 0-1, I suppose, made me debut. Came off injured. Then 0-3, I suppose, we did 2 games with him. I don't think the television cameras were at the first one. Flinner got 3-3.
Yeah, it was a thriller, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, that was an unbelievable game. Probably one of the best games I was ever involved with Waterford. I was actually coming back from suspension. I scored a goal that day, and then we won the replay. And then we didn't actually come across each other then till 0-7 with the 0-7 Munster final. Played very well that day, and then I suppose the All-Ireland semi-final. That game is the game that still haunts me. Shouldn't have played that day. Just wasn't 100% right. And then I suppose then was 0-9 was the game against Justin. We beat Limerick after a replay, and then I suppose the one then 2011 then where I got the goal, the nearly the last puck of the ball to win the game.
Nice cross by Owen Kelly for that one.
Yeah, it was a great pass from Owen Kelly. So really a mixed bag. I suppose I had some highs and some lows. The lows then was most definitely the All-Ireland semi-final in 2007. An awful lot of people said that Justin shouldn't have taken off myself and Flynn. Well, I can tell you he most certainly did the right thing taking me off that day. I mean, he possibly should have taken me off earlier. Taking off Flynn, probably wouldn't have taken off Flynn. I mean, we were chasing the game, probably needed a goal to get back into it, so I would have leaving Flynn on the field. But some great highs and lows. Probably the highest one was probably that last minute goal to snatch a goal at that. It was a fantastic moment, and I suppose winning the Munster final then in 2007 after winning the league, and then we had 2 trophies in the bag, and we were hoping to kick on and win the big one, but unfortunately that didn't happen.
Yeah, well, was it a virus or something you were suffering from?
There was a vomiting virus going around, and I suppose I picked up an all injury in the Cork game.
That was only a week earlier.
Yeah, a week earlier.
Yeah.
So I got injections into my ribs before the match off of Dr. Higgins, and I was just getting over that the vomiting virus. So I was very, very weak. I was, I just didn't feel 100% within myself. And when you're not 100%, looking back, I probably shouldn't have taken to the field that day. But look. That's the joys and the lows of the game,
Yeah, bringing it back to the present day, John, Clare Tip is the other Munster clash on Sunday. How do you call this one?
Clare Tip, yeah, that's going to be an enthralling affair up in Ennis. I suppose the Ennis factor, going up to Ennis is a tough place to go to, but I think I really like what Tip are doing at the moment. I think Sheedy, the Sheedy factor is back. He's got him buzzing. I think they're scoring 458 in the last 2 games, and I think all of 7 or 8 points or they only have to come from frees. But it is the ultimate test for Tipperary. Could you judge them on the first 2 games? They probably had the freedom at the park in both games, if we were to be totally honest, in the Waterford game and the Cork game. So I think it's the ultimate test for them. It's going to be real hostilic atmosphere up there, real in your face. I think Clare are going to bring a lot to the table. A lot of manic aggression. I think they'll go to try and outfight Tip, but I just don't know. I just think I like what I'm seeing with Tip at the moment, and I think Tip might win it by a point or 2.
Yeah, and you've been on RT radio duty the last 3 Sundays for the Hurling Championship, John. What did you make of Galway Wexford up in Salt Hill last week?
Yeah, well, look, I can get excited on the radio, but I tell you, for 45, 50 minutes, I felt like there was no air of excitement up there. I thought it was pretty poor stuff, pretty tame stuff. But look, it got exciting there the last 15, 20 minutes. But you got to give great credit to Wexford, Davy Fitzgerald. I mean, never say die attitude. They showed that in abundance up in Dublin the previous week when they were 5 points down. They were 8 points down last weekend. Kept going to the final whistle, and they probably should have got their just rewards. They should have won that game last Sunday.
Yeah, is there worrying signs for Galway in that performance, John, without Joe Canning?
I'd be worried if I was Galway, because let's be honest about it, this Galway team are on the road the last 4 or 5 years since 2015, and albeit they were in the All-Ireland final or were All-Ireland winners 2 years ago. I mean, mentally, psychologically, it's a lot goes into it to have gotten them to the foot of that mountain, and I suppose to get to the foot of the mountain and then to win it. And you're looking back at our lads too, like, you know, our lads are there the last 4 or 5 years, 5 years under Derek, a lot of semi-finals, finals. So, I mean, you can have these lull years, or, you know, before you challenge again. But I hope to think that our lads, you know, that there's a bit more in them Sunday, and that, you know, we can kick on and get back to winning ways, because I think that's what we need to do in the Munster Championship. I think there was a stat there, the last 7 Munster Championship games we haven't won, and I think we just have to get back to the bread and butter of picking up a few wins. And, you know, if you can get back to winning ways in Munster, you know, you can push on to greater things.
Brilliant. Well, John, thanks a million for your time today, and enjoy the game in Welsh Park on Sunday.
Oh, what was awesome.